Skylar Dumas. I'm doing sheet number 1. The first step is we're going to observe the spine. I'm going to start looking, see if there's any visible edema, any moles, acne, just anything that's going to obstruct the nervous scope. I don't see anything here on this patient, so starting with the nervous scope, I'm going to push it, turn it on, make sure it's set to the medium setting, and I'm going to adjust it to fit the patient's cervical spine, make sure everything's covered completely, no loose ends. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom here, I'm going to work my way up, looking for the pin to bounce to either side. And when I do that, I got one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check that 3 times and make sure it stays consistent. And it does. And so right here is where it's going, and I'm going to mark the trailing end of that right there. And I'll do that with my pin, but here we're not going to. Alright, and so moving down, I'm loosening the nervous scope to fit the patient. I'm going to start T1. I'm going to work my way down. Notice the mark right there, so I'm going to go over it 3 times. There it is again. And there it is the 3rd time, so I'm going to mark the trailing end, and we're going to continue with that to the lumbars. Next thing we're going to do with that is just feel for any edema, and it's consistent. Where I marked the first one in the cervicals, felt that sticky feeling. Go again here, right, same spot in the thoracics, and so on down the spine. So region 1, we're going to start with the occiput. So I'm going to stand here, and I'm going to chest for lateral flexion, testing to see if the occiput is closing on the atlas, and I can tell it's not on this left side here. So we're going to next go feel some flexion and extension restrictions. Like that, maybe lean back a little bit. So still feeling extension restriction. Alright, so I'm feeling an extension restriction, so basically it's AS, L, and now I'm going to check for the lateral rotation, make sure it's sliding. It feels like the left side is posterior. So that's it for the occiput. Now we're going to do the pelvis analysis, and we're going to have the patient stand up. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Pull your pants down just a little bit. Feel your PSISs. And I'm going to go ahead and have the patient bend forward. And it looks like they're moving together. So go ahead and lean up. There was no asymmetry. We'll do that one more time just to double check, and go ahead. And they appear to be going at the same time. But just for the video, we're going to say that he has a obstruction on the left side. So now we're going to go to the knee lift, and I'm going to contact PSIS, sacroala, and I'm going to have the patient go ahead and lift their left knee. And you can feel the ilium moving posterior, sacrum where I'm contacting moving anterior, which means we got a pretty good glide. So now I'm going to have the patient go ahead and do the same thing with their right knee. Alright, felt a little bit more stuck there. And so from here we're going to observe the glute width. Well, that's unusual artifact.